Hi guys, it's Wanda Sparks here, and I'm joined today by my co-host Jay. Say hello, Jay. And we are with our friend here.
You want to say my name?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. I am Benjamin Fonseca. Everybody may know me. You can Google me. I'm also known as BennyToca. The only BennyToca. There's, anybody else is just imposters. So I'm the one and only. You can Instagram me, whatever. BennyToca, pretty self-explanatory.
But before we Instagram you and we learn about the one and only BennyToca, take us on a journey of what it is like to be BennyToca.
Well, as you can see, people, I am a little person. I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis at the young age of 2, which is an autoimmune disease. It's typically a degenerative disease. Most of the medications that I was on did a lot of damage. It totally killed my growth hormones, which basically, of course, kept me at the size that I am now. That's basically it. And I'm a cannabis patient.
You're a cannabis. So
yes.
You said that you were diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis when you were 2.
Correct.
And they said that you wouldn't live past 10.
Correct. So, with the disease, as they say, it's a degenerative disease. They said I've been through a lot. As when I was 10 years old, got to a pretty point in my life where I was pretty dependent on people, and then I was almost on my deathbed. I only weighed approximately 40 pounds. I couldn't really eat. Food I was always choking. There were recommendations of doing actually 2 feedings.
Wow.
I had my first mild heart attack. I am a survivor of 2 mild heart attacks by the time I was 18. My first one was actually almost at the age of 7 and 8.
So now, when did you... Well, because you've obviously lived past the age of 10.
Correct.
When did you change your lifestyle? Like, how did this all come about?
Well, when I was that near sick, it was one of my uncles that basically introduced cannabis to my lifestyle. And I actually started feeling that cannabis is what actually allowed my body to start the real healing process rather than the actual standard degenerative disease that it's normally known as.
So when you started smoking cannabis, what were the differences that you noticed?
I noticed an increase of appetite. With the increase of appetite, one is able to consume the necessary stuff to build the body mass, the muscle and regain your lifestyle. I've endured a lot of surgeries. Essentially, I started on my whole fixing what doesn't work. If it stops working right the way you need it, just get it out of you and get it done.
Okay, so marijuana changed your life, and now you're doing something very interesting with it.
Correct.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
Well, I think I just started a not-for-profit. I am the founder of an organization called the Allied Access Foundation. We are a cannabis and hemp not-for-profit organization in which essentially we want to make sure that everybody is getting the necessary help that they necessarily need accordingly. There's been a lot of abuses in this industry, and a lot of things I've noticed, as I'm just tired of people with disabilities taken advantage of, as well as the elderly and the sick.
Wow. So you not only help.
So essentially, we do help with applications, of course. Being an Illinois resident, we help with the application processes. We make it an affordable way. So these doctors, I appreciate those that have taken the time to actually do the applications. But there's a lot of physicians that have taken advantage of that authority and that ability, and been overly pricing these application fees.
Yeah, because Jay, you were just saying that it's like $350.
Is that right?
You were quoted at one number. We can get it. Yeah, like I said, it should not be any more than, let's say, $400 to get your card. If you are paying any more than $400, you're being taken advantage of, and you need a good talk with that physician or whatever, or see somebody that's going to actually help you get the actual answers you need accordingly.
So that's after 2 surgeries, so it's a method of being able to have to take any pills with major side effects. That's my biggest thing. I mean, anybody's concern should be the same, I think.
So that's something that you're hoping to do as well, is obtain your card?
Possibly.
Yeah. So what would the process be like if Jay? Because
you need a physician. You need an actual appropriate diagnosis, of course, and a physician that's willing to sign off on it. You know, have to have a bona fide diagnosis by that physician and a history with that physician. Typically, a lot of hospitals are against having their general practice physicians, but who's going to know you better than your general practice doctor, the one that you've seen and have a history with? And those are the ones that you need a better understanding, a better conversations, because typically everything should be done and signed off and not be charged by. No doctor should be charging any patients at all just to sign off on a medical necessity, a medical need.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't think that the process was so extensive and that it was so costly.
Back then, their fingerprints were required as well. That's no longer required. There's also a different processes as well. We have the opioid alternative program, which gives people the options to try cannabis versus dealing with any type of hardcore opiates.
Meaning as far as like pain management?
Correct. So there's different programs making it available to more individuals. Of course, PTSD is one of the major diagnoses as well. There's a long list of diagnoses that's been that is added recently. So yeah, we can get you applied. Come January 1st, Illinois is having recreational cannabis. However, only licensed patients are going to be only allowed to grow.
So it is legal, but only licensed patients.
Only licensed patients are going to be to grow. Correct. Okay. So,
but as far
that'd
as
be beneficial. I mean, you have it there.
Yeah,
how easier it is just to have it at home.
True.
Well, then patients have to remember it's safer, but at the same time, you need to be in a secured location. It has to be kept away, from children. It has to be, you have to have some type of form of security in place. So it can't just be open like freely.
Right.
There's going to be special precautions, that are going to have to be in place. But of course, it's just common sense stuff.
And you're in favor for having being able to legal operated organized meeting place, right? To be not come January 1st.
Correct.
What would you see as a good way of doing that, or how do you see that?
There's going to be a multitude of licenses available that individuals can apply for or businesses can apply for, such as lounges and so forth. And it's just how you apply, and as long as you have the monies for these application fees, that's all they really care about.
Oh wow! So I wouldn't need to sell it or grow it, but I can have a location where
there's different licenses. There's going to be licenses for cultivation. There's licenses for everything. The city, everybody's. But again, the fees and processes for everything has been here in Illinois, I believe, are extorted. The fees is just astronomically high. It's just there's no way for a lot of businesses and organizations to actually survive on these, and you're going to start seeing it for the next few years, extremely high prices as you do have in states like Las Vegas.
They don't have to be that high. They don't.
No.
Have to be.
No,
but
they're trying to take advantage.
Correct.
Yes.
So it's.
What was the EpiPen supposed to be at when it came out? What should have been, and did we jack up the price like 200%?
Correct.
Yeah. Look at the EpiPen is unaffordable now.
Yeah.
It's like even with insurance.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, you can't get it. But now take us through the process of growing this.
Growing is
not an interesting little tent out there.
Yeah. So everything here is for educational purposes. Essentially, nothing can really be done. Nothing's really being done until January 1st when it's actually legal.
So you can't sell to anyone.
No, you're not allowed to sell to anybody. You're only supposed to actually grow for your own self, personal use, as but patients have to remember that everything takes time to get done. You're gonna honestly, the low count that they allow for patients is just they're making patients dependent on the dispensaries.
Wow.
It's just no way that patients can actually be happy just growing. There's no way. I mean, because there's a length period, like in anything, like your tomatoes and your strawberries. Everything takes time to grow. How do you have a patient that's going to be without medication for so long?
Yeah.
It's just because they will only allow a maximum of 5 plants to grow.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So they control that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like 5 different hybrids. Am I saying
Well,
that
it's
right?
whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, whatever's more. There are those because there's different type of strains. You have your hybrids, you have your sativas, and your indicas.
Yes.
My preference is personally is an indica. But I.
Is the indica more of an upper or a downer?
The indicas are downers. They're more like for rest, relaxation. I've been on years of steroids. So with the steroid use, I just felt that it does more harm than good.
Okay.
I've now been months medication free, not one pill in my system.
Get out of here! That's
just strictly
awesome.
cannabis now.
Wow.
So.
That is, and you said for months now it's been.
Yeah, it's like about 3 months I'm going on without any type of form of medications.
Oh my gosh! So I feel like this is something that everybody should know about and be educated about, especially how you help
Correct.
people in the community, not only with obtaining their medical marijuana.
Correct. We do.
But also
We do a little bit more further because again, there's a lot of information out there. It's all about proper information. We do assist with Social Security applications. We also assist with Medicare, Medicaid appeals. Your food stamp appeals. Working on any type of programs that you may need. We are going to try to help you to the best of our ability. And make sure you're taken care of course, making sure your units are met as far as, on the cannabis side as well. There's been a lot of abuses in the program where their caregivers were actually buying out the patient's allotments without their knowledge.
Wow.
And it's really ridiculous,
Oh my gosh. So yeah, you were telling me something earlier about nursing homes and how
Correct.
those work and how you're pretty much relinquishing
yourself, your life to these,
your livelihood, because
correct.
Even your money
Your money, everything is garnished, everything is taken from you. You are solely living on a little allowance. It reminds you back of when you're like 10, 12 years old, getting a $30 allowance out of your pension of say $3,000 or more. Wow. You are also required to sign up for any type of federal food programs, and they take that as well to be able to feed you, despite the fact that they will provide you with so forth. It's just ridiculous. It's the worst opportunity. It's the worst time for anybody. And a lot of times some families do need that. They don't have other resources. But this is something, that is why we actually founded this organization, is to ensure that people can live their lives independently and not need those types of facilities.
And so as far as your non-for-profit, like how are you raising funds for this? We
do donations. Okay. We do accept donations. That's strictly how we're surviving, strictly donations. But we're so hopefully going to start applying for some grants pretty soon. We're eagerly hiring as always. So we're just trying to do the best we can with what we got.
Wow. So if I look you up on social media like Facebook, Instagram, do those pages have like links where I can find out about your
I think so.
I
believe so. I think we have a website as well, the AlliedAccessFoundation.org. It needs a lot of work because again, we're very small. There's only 3 of us. So
and
we're
you've
trying
been
to do
doing
this
it for how long?
3 years. 3 years.
I know all the work that goes into non-for-profits.
Yeah. So again, we don't charge anything for any consultations. We don't do any. No, I don't believe in any of that. We're just, as long as you can pay for your licenses, we'll help you with that. Hopefully, one of our programs that we are trying to develop is for those that are unable to afford these licenses. We want to take care of that as well. Get patients licensed the way they should be.
And I think that's interesting. Our country right now is experiencing this opioid crisis.
Correct.
And it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. And a lot of the stories that you hear about these people getting hooked on heroin is because they start with
Right.
the opioids. You
Correct.
know, the doctors
The
prescribe
morphines and the
Yes.
all the different little pain patches and stuff of that nature. It's ridiculous. I mean, we had so many deaths with opioids. It's really ridiculous. Even famous people to it's just common your everyday person. The thing is that cannabis has always been a great alternative to medications if it's properly managed. You know, with proper management, it can do a lot of great things, but it can also be abused. You know, like anything, you can always overindulge.
On
You know,
cannabis,
like you
way.
can, you
Yeah.
can. I mean, you're not gonna die from it, but you can overindulge. It can become a problem to a certain extent. So being able to still stay functional, be a product of society and life is really essential. Proper balance is everything in life.
Everything in moderation.
Yep, everything in moderation.
Correct.
Correct. Yep.
I know.
yeah.
I mean, well, I grew up in the '80s where it was like the Nancy Reagan era. Where they know the drugs.
It was a lot of taboo, a lot of
Yes,
misinformation,
yes,
a lot of bad education. But again, back then, that whole programs, they were fed so much federal funds on something that was, in all honesty, a discriminatory law. To keep the war on drugs was a discriminatory law that was just targeted Latinos and blacks.
Oh yeah, definitely. Then it
And
goes
it's
back
just-
to like the crack epidemic. where
Correct.
They were all being jailed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You know, it's interesting because I did grow up with that idea of like marijuana's always been like the gateway drug.
No,
you
it's
know?
always alcohol.
And yeah,
Alcohol is the number one gateway drug,
And that's
hands
legal.
down, and it's legal.
And it's
And that's
Correct.
the worst for you, right?
That's the worst for you. It does so much damage, and it does. But you know, the thing about the alcohol industry makes billions and billions of dollars every year.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is that major contracts and major deals are always usually done over drinks. You know, because typically the salesman or the one that's trying to pitch the guy that wants him so comfortable and to get that contract from that billionaire or whatever, that investor, they want him so comfortable to allow them to make that deal. You know, it's
yeah,
always
that's how
drinks.
Jay
I
gets-
I'm like,
That's how Jay gets his girls.
Robert drinks and that's it.
Really?
Jay, how's your dating life going to change in January?
So,
when all
anyways,
this
getting
is
back to
legal?
this, it's funny how you say
Yeah.
about alcohol because I
Yeah.
agree. In the
Yeah.
words of Homer Simpson, he said, he's like, to alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Exactly. I love that. That's an awesome quote. Good old Homer Simpson.
It all goes back to the Simpsons.
Right.
It always does. Oh my gosh.
That show.
Yes. So, anything you want to tell us, or tell us how to find you again, just in case.
If you want to look me up, of course, I'm always on Facebook. My name is Benjamin Fonseca. Or Google me, BennyToca. I'm on Instagram, BennyToca. All one word.
TLCA.
Yeah, BennyToca.
Okay.
So
In touch, that's how you get in touch with
with
BennyToca.
BennyToca. There
Coming
you go.
soon, yes.
Yes, sir. I'll be back.
Podcast, I'm going to be working with this gentleman. I'm happy
All
to
right.
announce now on a podcast, including his contributions, again, a little bit more about his background, his involvement, and the way talk about what's happening, because January 1st is around the corner before we know
Yep.
it. So stay tuned for that. So happy to announce it, man.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
All right. Thanks. Stay blessed.
Bye.